thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. Week in Review Fridays. Coming up tonight, we talk about the big week for the Free National Movement. In fact, the newest sort of spin is that FNM's in Kalani says that if Dr. Minnis is not given a nomination, they will not vote. Are they serious? Well, the Hot Topics panel will talk about that. Also this week, we see Economic Affairs Minister Michael Alkita speaking on the tariffs and their impact, if any, on the Bahamas. We get into all of this and a whole lot more on Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you along this evening. I'm Shanique Miller. Welcome to this evening's show. Well, the Free National Movement Association in the Kalani constituency are today, I spoke with a number of them and we are planning a future interview, but they said today to me before we came on the air this evening that Shanique, what is circulating out there is true. And this is, of course, just sort of the latest development, the latest episode in this whole saga. And that is if Dr. Hubert Minnis, the Member of Parliament in the constituency, the one who they say have beaten and on numerous occasions and times in various general election, has beaten anyone that came and opposed him, if he is not given a nomination for the 2026 general election, then they will sit out. That's right, sit at home. These are association members I'm referring to. So will they? How is the FNM going to change the narrative that is stuck on them, that is now really just sort of the kind of narrative that they don't need at this point, the kind of narrative that is damaging? How will they shake that to be able to move forward as a unified group and be able to go forward and convince the Bahamian people to re-elect them and put them in office? It's a legitimate question this evening. We're going to start right there. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, our contributors, Leslie Miller and Ellington Ferguson. Gentlemen, good evening to you. Quite a big news week politically.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Certainly, thank you, Shanique, for having me once again.
It's good to see you both. Good to have you here, Ellington. What do you all make of this, gentlemen? And as I said, I confirmed it. I spoke with two of the association executives, the chairman, as well as another executive member who are working to speak with us here on the show later next week. But they're saying, Shanique, we stand by that. We stand by it. We feel as though Dr. Minnis remains very viable, relatable. He's resonating in the Kalani constituency. He serves the constituency well, still very popular. If he's not given a nomination, then we are not interested in going to the polls.
Shanique, it's not surprising at all with this news coming out of Kalani from the association there. I think the level of representation that Dr. Minnis had given to Kalani, Kalani appreciated his service for that constituency is stellar. And now Kalani is saying he has served them well and they're prepared now to stand by him and support him during these times. Again, the Free National Movement have got to make a decision whether they're going to rebuild and reorganize quickly now or do it after a defeating loss at the next general election. Because these actions are going to cause the party to be further splintered and to lose at the polls. They're not going to be able to go up against the machinery of the Progressive Liberal Party. And you see the things that that party is now rolling off, and some things are now coming to fruition. Some things are now happening from some of their initiatives. Everything is not going well. All of their agendas isn't coming off, but it's going to be sufficient to cause them to win the victory at the polls. And the Free National Movement under the leadership of Mr. Michael Pintard is not helping their own cause at all. They're dividing themselves. They're further dividing themselves. I don't know where they're going to find these voters from when half of your voters, and see what you're seeing in Kalani, it's Kalani proper. That's not the rest of the people throughout the rest of the constituencies who still supports Dr. Minnis.
Yeah, but how did the F&M, Leslie, find itself here, though? They did not factor this in. It just, what I mean by this is that this is the biggest unnecessary distraction that the Free National Movement needs right now.
It's obvious to all of us that a decision has been made that Dr. Minnis, as well as others, will not be contesting in the next general elections. Brentwood Wells, for example, will not be on the ticket. The former Minister Woods and the Deputy Prime Minister, Desmond Bannister, decent human being, is not going to be on the ticket. The hierarchy of the F&M have decided, I guess, put 2 or 3 of them, who will run and who won't run. I think they're making a hell of a mistake, but that's their decision. It shows you that the fear that they have with certain people, most of the decent ones really, to be honest with you, that people could relate to. Pintard has gone on a tangent that he will get rid of who you want to get rid of, in any manner in which he sees fit to try to belittle those men and bring them to their knees. I don't think Dr. Minnis and his cohorts are going to accede to what he would wish to see happen. But we should see. Let's see what happens over the next week or two. Things are going to flatten out, and it'll be what it'll be.
I say this, if I may, Shanique, at the end of the day, I can tell you, and I'm confident that I can say this, that after the evening after election polls have been closed, Kalani will be in the willing column with Dr. Minnis, wherever he's at, independent or a Free National Movement candidate.
Yeah, quite interesting, quite interesting. Again, just a week that the F&M did not need, and it's just seemed to be spinning out of control. Speaking of, we also on Wednesday, during the session in the House of Assembly, Aram Lewis, the Member of Parliament, a 2-time Member of Parliament, a former Cabinet Minister in the Central Grand Bahama constituency, resigned from the F&M, crossed the floor to the Coalition of Independents. Gentlemen, your thoughts on that? Here it is. History was made on Wednesday. The Coalition of Independents, history in the way that for the first time a Member of Parliament crossed the floor. That's not the historic part. Here it is, to a third party, not even represented in the Parliament. But your thoughts on just again, just just the narrative and the image or perception that paints for the Free National Movement.
Again, it speaks to a party that has not yet gotten its footing, or more so, the leadership of the party have not gotten its footing. And from 2021 to now, they're losing ground. And we saw the beginning of that after the election in 2021, when we went to the by-election. They lost more votes then than they had lost in the general election. And so it seems that the leadership in the Free National Movement is going down this stairwell into a dark abyss. And they need to do something to rescue that and cause it not to happen, because that move with Mr. Lewis this week, Aram Lewis, it speaks overall to the dissent that exists within the party. Okay, how many others? And you're looking at Aram Lewis because he's at the front, he's still a Member of Parliament, but how many others in the party are, if not thinking about leaving the party, thinking about against the leadership of the party? And so they need to really look at this downward spiral that they're on.
You know, I've given this some thought over the last day or two, what Mr. Lewis has done. First and foremost, he was elected by the good people of Grand Bahama in one of the seats in Grand Bahama. He was elected on the F&M ticket. I don't see how a Member of Parliament could walk the floor to a non-existing party that never had a Member of Parliament elected to the halls of Parliament. My concern is this. The people are complaining that his representation was poor to begin with. But be that as it may, what is now going to happen to the funds that goes into his account that's supposed to be earmarked for the people of that constituency?
Same thing.
Because they didn't send him to Parliament to go with no CIO, whatever the hell they need. They sent him to Parliament on their behalf. He is now not on their behalf at all. He is now with a new, whatever you want to call them, a new grouping that has little or no chance of getting anybody in the House of Parliament.
You sure about that,
in
Leslie?
the next 50 years. Ain't no doubt about it.
In the next 50, Leslie?
50 at least.
Leslie, not 2026,
Well,
50.
first of all, most of them can be around. We ain't going to be around. So I could say 50. It ain't going to happen. In the next election, the CIO will not get one damn member of Parliament elected. Not one. I guarantee you that.
That's a
Not
tall
one.
statement
Not
Leslie has
one
made.
single one will get elected.
Leslie,
Not one.
Let's put up.
Not one. Put $1,000 right now. Not one will be elected.
You don't lose
None.
before, Mike.
That's all right. I said they will not get one candidate elected at the House of Parliament. Can't not happen.
Let me just be
The people
careful how
believe
much,
that's stupid.
what I go wager. But go ahead, Ellington.
Let me go ahead and say this on a more sober note. What is happening in the Bahamas and the movement of voters, and I want to speak also to that Iram situation with him, how he representing the people. But what we see happening, the momentum that Lincoln Bain has been able to garner in this country, speak directly to the fallout of the Bahamian people with the Free National Movement and the Progressive Liberal Party. There's too much stuff that has been happening in this country that people are not pleased with. And so the momentum that Lincoln Bain has gotten is not about him as much as it is about the Bahamian people trying to say, listen, we're tired of this. We need more attention. We need y'all to pay attention to what we're saying to y'all. So the Bahamian people is saying something to them. What I'm concerned about, I'm not necessarily concerned about, as Leslie mentioned, about how the funds will go, because every MP funds is supposed
He has to give an account for those funds.
into the community.
Earmarked for that community.
PLP,
Yes,
or
But he's no longer associated with those people.
No, being associated with a party does not guarantee the proper spending of those funds. An independent is supposed to do the
He has
same
to give
thing.
an account,
A member of
But he's
parliament,
not
of the
independent.
PLP or COI, any one of them supposed to do, the money's supposed to go the same way.
Who does COI represent?
Now the question is, though,
Who does COI
and
represent?
again, this may speak to amendment of legislation. So, is the majority of people being represented? Because you have
Which majority?
no. Hear me out. The majority of the people in the constituency that votes decides who the member of parliament is going to be.
Right.
Exactly.
That majority of that constituency decided we want a Free National Movement candidate.
Mm-hmm.
We have a scenario now that not only is that higher majority being denied that privilege,
Mm-hmm.
but the second larger majority, which was the Progressive Liberal Party's candidate, is also
Mm-hmm.
being denied that privilege. The COI got 400 votes. So the group with the smallest number
Out of
has got their wish.
minimum.
So that is not majority.
No, it is not majority. It's not democratic. However, though, but
400
wait.
We need to look at amending the law.
So should we get away from the Westminster system that allows that? Because members have crossed the floor before. People have voted PLP.
In the past, it has
and the
been done.
PLP stepped across the floor and gone to the FNM and therefore became an FNM MP. And vice versa. People have voted FNM and crossed the floor and became a thing.
We
PLP.
should look at that as to whether we allow it to go into a by-election or how do
When a
we
member
allow
decides
that
they're
to
going to
happen.
cross the
But
floor.
I think it's
you're right.
something we need to look at.
No,
the majority
it's
views of the
legitimate.
people need to always be represented in Parliament.
Yes, it's
Listen,
legitimate.
as we've been going door to door since last June, less than 100 people had any concern about the CI, whatever it is. COI. There's no way in this world, in the next election coming up, that they'd get a member of parliament elected to parliament. They'd get a member of
I wouldn't go
Leslie,
that far.
okay,
I would not
Leslie,
go that far.
Leslie,
Cannot and
Leslie,
will
wait
not
a
happen.
minute, Ellington. Now he is trying to concentrate it
cannot
now.
and
Each
will not
constituency.
happen. In any constituency,
Leslie,
no problem.
yes, what I'm
On the
asking
family
you,
island.
Leslie,
Will not happen.
be honest, Leslie.
Yes.
You go
Yes.
out
Yes.
every
Yes,
weekend
we'll be out tomorrow,
to
God's
various
willing.
constituencies.
Yes.
What are the people saying about the COI? Truly,
I said maybe 1 in 100 would question them.
maybe what? Who?
1 in 100 voters will say, well, with this, I mean, look at the COI. 1 in 100.
Wow. I've
Not
been
a-
moving
not-
around in some other circles. And the people that I know that were either Progressive Liberal Party members, FNM, I'm talking about decent,
No more than 1 in
well-to-do
100.
people working in high jobs. These people are saying, bro, listen, we had enough, man. I'm going to give them a try. Somebody said to me,
That ain't
I
happening.
don't believe he's going to do nothing, but I just want to let the PLP and the FNM know I'm just fed up.
That ain't happening.
So people are doing it for various
Just
they're
to say-
doing
just-
it.
just
They
to
say
make-
it's not
they are
gonna-
talking about
to
it.
make a point.
But
To
they're
make
not
a point.
serious.
They're doing it.
On election day, it will not happen.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Make it happen.
Gentlemen, here's some good news that certainly the PLP should pat itself on the back for. They are the government, and this is what they've done to bring ease to the people. You know, inflation has been an issue since 2020 and just continued being an issue. This week, I think it was Tuesday, the VAT reduction came into effect. Have you all heard any people about it? Have you all experienced it personally yourselves? This reduction to now 5%, from 10% to 5% in grocery stores that came into effect on Tuesday?
Shanique, I heard a lot about it in the news. Personally, I have not been paying attention. I went in the store once or twice. I haven't paid any attention to it. I saw some people in some chats and stuff talking about it, but didn't hear any widespread on the ground talking about it. It's a little saving. It's from the government point of what they can do. It goes a long way. Generally, your grocery bill remains the same. It's just that you got to give the government, instead of 10%, now 5%. So that cut down on that part of it. That is to be commended. The government is to be commended for that.
Listen, most people where you go, when you get a break on any course in this country, is happy that that course is going to take place. I think people are now going to wait to see what the Prime Minister does in regard to what overall. He indicated that if he gets another term, he's looking at bringing VAT down again. That's what people are now talking about, hoping that in fact he would make a definitive statement that if the Conservative Party is elected, we will bring down VAT again. That's the issue now. Because the United States government has already made a decision with these new tariffs that's going to go straight across the board. In the Bahamas case, it's 10%. And looking in newspapers today, this guy a fisherman said that the price of their food now, their catch going to the United States is going to increase by about 30% based on that 10% that has been levied against them. If this serious levy that he's trying to put on boats, on ships that are made in China, comes to our ports, this $1 million for everyone, that's going to cause chaos. And you wonder if the world is going to accept all of the things this man has been attempting to do. We will see, I guess, over the next month or so, things would flatten out. And of course, he changes his mind every day, because he's now waiting for these countries to respond to see what he's going to give them. For example, in South Africa, he's really putting a lot of pressure on the South Africans. And most of the small black countries in Africa is going to catch eternal hell.
What were their tariffs before? Because I have been really trying to make sense of this, Leslie, and see what is going on. Because I'll tell you, the majority of American people, including blacks, support the decisions Trump is making. They feel as though
majority of what? Who people? The Americans?
Yes,
no, they don't.
I'm telling. We obviously see different media.
I guess
I'm just telling you, they see this as rescuing and returning the economy to into the hands of the American people.
You're talking about the products that they produce around the world.
No, well, that too, bringing business back there. But what I'm saying, they see this as benefiting the American economy. Now, what I'm saying with us, Michael Alkitis, we ran a story this week, if you all remember, in the newscast as well as here on the show. Michael Alkitis is saying that 10% is really not, first of all, this sort of crackdown on tariffs that the Trump administration is doing is not really targeted towards the Bahamas, because the Bahamas, in any event, don't export anything much to. Yes. And he was saying that for now, the Bahamas, it doesn't have need to be worried. However, though, we are looking at that diversification program. I guess now we are seeing the sense of it that this administration has sort of introduced. He's saying that program is still seeking alternative ways and routes for us to be able to get our food and whatever else it is that we import into the nation, and kind of just exclude the United States out.
And then
exclude them. That's what it is.
One of the things that people keep leaving out of this conversation is a particular word, reciprocal tax.
Tariff, yeah.
Tariffs. People leave that word. I don't know whether it's deliberately or they missing that word. People don't understand the amount of tariffs that U.S. goods have been taxed going out of the U.S. 100% Canada have and this is prior to Trump, 100% on American produce. I mean,
for years.
We're looking at it right here in the Bahamas. We have 65% on American cars coming in. Okay? When you talk about tax,
American, on all vehicles, we haven't
including American vehicles, we're dealing with America right now. No, I know the rest, but we're dealing with America. We have
just straight across the board.
We have 65%.
Yes.
Okay, so and we have double tax because you tax it the duty, and then you come with the VAT, and the VAT is taxed the duty, and we've been talking about that. How do you tax a tax? And so we have a lot of fixing that we need to do for our own people, and as relates to getting goods and stuff.
The world is headed for a recession. If the president continue on this round that he's on now with these taxes around the world, all of the major financial houses are saying there will be a recession in the next 6 months.
Well, it's quite interesting.
It is up to him to call the shots.
Yeah.
But the world will watch and see what happens, because nobody's going to allow you to dictate to them and not retaliate.
But also, but in a way, as I understand it, we didn't know none of this sort of global trading that happened. What the U.S. is saying that for too long, their goods have been taxed, to maximum points and levels by these nations.
That's because of the size of those economies.
And now that they're saying again to try and rescue their economy. But listen, we will continue looking at that. I wanted to bring obviously something else that Prime Minister Ingram talked about, which is the judicial system and the need for that to be overhauled. So that cases happen very quickly. But of course, we discussed that at length as well this week. And so, gentlemen, I thank you both. You both, of course, were here this week for a lot of these topics, and again for Week in Review Friday. So thank you very much. Thank you both very much.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you. Have yourself a great weekend.
Thank you so much. I shall. Don't go anywhere. Beyond the Headlines is back. When we come back, we're going to be looking at women's health. It's more after this.
For over half a century, we've been more than just an airline. We've been a bridge, connecting families, dreams, and memories across the islands and beyond. Behind every seat sold and every journey planned, there's a dedicated team committed to making air travel affordable and accessible to everyone. At Bahamas Air, we're not just building connections, we're building a safe and dependable airline where quality service is paramount and an excellent travel experience is our priority. Wherever you're going, we're here to take you there with care, with heart, and with the promise of unforgettable journeys. We are family, and just like family, we're committed to taking care of our own. Your Bahamas Air is our Bahamas Air, because here at Bahamas Air, we don't just fly here, we live here.
What if I told you Wendy's has a new burger with a flavor so secret it's almost too delicious to handle? Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time.
Attention Bahama! Get ready to link up in Eleuthera. Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, Colette, Bahama Sin, and the Rock Sound Homecoming Committee present KB and Friends Boatman Show, April 18th and 19th in beautiful Rock Sound, Eleuthera. At the homecoming site, April 18th, experience the boatman himself, KB. Mama D, Colin McDonald, and the Falcons. April 19th, the vibes keep going with Ancient Man, Fanshawn, Terrero, Keisha, and the King of the South, Abby. With music by DJ Rap, Pop Style, DJ Lodge, and DJ Andy. Don't miss the Boatman Easter Weekend concert. Book your flights, rooms, and rentals now. For info, email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Telephone 558-3804. Don't miss the ultimate Boatman concert. See you in Eleuthera, April 18th and 19th. Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents The Legends of Rake Spray. Get ready for the biggest names in Bahamian music live on stage. KB, Funky D, Chino D, D-Ma, Sweet Emma, family. Simeon out, Veronica Bishop, and more like the singing Bishop. Mark your calendars for Saturday, May 10th at the Farm, Marshall Road. Gates open at 6 p.m. General admission 80, VIP 120. Tickets available at Missouri, Bookkeeper, and at the Beauty Shack, both locations. Skyboxes and Skypods. Call ESC Distributors at 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Saturday, May 10th, come by boat and play and experience the legends of Rake and Scrape. Brought to you by Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, ESC Distributors, Missouri, The Plug, The Beauty Shack, Bahamas Bookie Brand, and Caribbean Wines and Spirits.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by the Legends of Rake and Scrape, May 10th at the Farm, Marshall Road.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, March was Endometriosis Month. It's a condition that many women are plagued with. In fact, it affects so many women, whether, of course, during their monthly cycle, but it even goes further. I am also wondering, and I know it's different, is it somehow related to PCOS? Well, this was really the purpose of the month of March, Endometriosis Month, to bring about more awareness, to educate women, and to also let them know that there is an avenue that they can get all of the assistance, the information first of all, and then the assistance that they need. Well, joining me this evening is Dr. Andrea Griffith Bowe. Dr. Bowe is an obstetrician and a gynecologist, and she was one of the sort of the faces in the forefront throughout March, bringing awareness, bringing education. But this evening she is here to just talk to all of us about endometriosis, women's health, and the fact that endometriosis affects a number of women, but if they're armed with information, they can sort of navigate properly through it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to talk about endometriosis because it affects about 10% of women worldwide. And to put that into perspective, endometriosis affects about 2 million women worldwide, just about as many women as are affected by breast cancer. And as we know, colon cancer is coming up right there as well. And so endometriosis is quite a substantive problem. Locally, when we look at the numbers, we're expecting somewhere between 18 to 20,000 women to be suffering from endometriosis here in the Bahamas on a daily basis.
Is it just for women who are in their childbearing ages, or how young can a woman experience endometriosis?
Right, absolutely, good question. The issue with endometriosis is that the symptoms can begin with the onset of their menstruation. And so endometriosis typically can start presenting itself from adolescency. And most of us think that, well, once we graduate through to menopause, that the symptoms will very well disappear. And the unfortunate thing is that even in the postmenopausal women, some women still do suffer from the symptoms of endometriosis.
Because what it is, it presents, I guess, as just like cramps, huh?
So the issue with endometriosis is pain. And the pain symptoms range not just from menstrual cramps. Women have pain prior to their menstruation in the pelvic area. Women have pain during intercourse. Women can have pain in their upper abdominal area. Women can have pain during urination, and women can also have pain during defecation. And so it is a syndrome that is represented by pain.
Quite interesting. Okay, well, Doc, let's talk about, you already talked about what it is. I don't know if you gave the definition you wanted to so that everybody understands, what is endometriosis?
So endometriosis is kind of difficult to explain, but imagine we have what we call prickle hair, right? We have what we call prickle hair.
Yes.
Which is that circular thing that is very sticky, right?
That if you walk on
if
it,
you walk on it,
yeah,
it hurts.
or if it gets caught on a piece of clothing and it rubs,
and it sticks. So endometriosis is the presence of the tissue from the inside of the womb, but instead of staying on the inside of the womb, it is now on the outside of the womb. And it tends to get stuck on your ovaries and your fallopian tubes. It can get stuck in your bowel. It can get stuck in your bladder. And imagine if you had one of those prickles on the soles of your feet. It's painful, correct? Yes. But what if that prickle was on the inside of your hand? Even more painful. What if it was in your nose or in your mouth? Yes. So the presence of the endometrial tissue where it should not be presents a painful and inflammatory state, and this is what creates the constant pain.
Wow, it's really something. And you're saying even before a teenager goes into having a period, she can be feeling these pains and
Well, it can start with the onset of menstruation because it is the actual menstrual flow that contributes to or is the cause for the actual endometriosis.
Why does it happen? Or
do
doctors know?
So the unfortunate thing is we don't know exactly why it happens, but we're thinking that sometimes instead of all of the menstrual flow coming out during a period, that some of the menstruation actually flows backwards into the body. And so it flows backwards through the tubes, and therefore it gets stuck onto the closest places where it can. The tubes, the ovaries, the outside of the uterus. And so this is one of the main theories, but there are several other theories because believe it or not, women have experienced endometriosis in their brain where they get bleeding from the brain during their monthly cycles. They've experienced it in their eyes. They get bleeding from their nose. Some women get bleeding from their belly button. And so it is difficult to really pinpoint the exact cause of endometriosis, but scientists have a myriad of theories.
So does it just occur during the time that a woman is, well, not ovulating, but having the period? Or can it happen at any time of the month?
So women can have pain at any time of the month. And this is why endometriosis is a condition that is characterized by pain and suffering for women because of the presence of these little, and I would describe them as little prickles, just so that persons can get a visual of what it is that I'm trying to explain. But because of the presence of all of these little tiny deposits being in your body, but not where they're supposed to be.
Right.
It presents inflammation.
Because when you describe those deposits, which is one of the theories by doctors, is that the blood flowing
backwards, correct.
Do they get locked in somewhere?
So they get locked in, and with every menstrual cycle, they ooze and they bleed. So imagine having a cut that every single month it heals, and it bleeds, and then it scabs, and then it heals. So what happens is there's chronic inflammation, there's scarring. Everything gets stuck together. And the pain, the syndrome of pain from the scarring and the inflammation can be indescribable to women.
Now, Dr. Bow, I want to ask you about, is this just a Black woman's experience? Is it a cross-section of women?
So endometriosis is an equal opportunity disease. So women of all races, all ethnicities, younger women, middle-aged women, older women, we all can suffer from endometriosis.
Are the periods heavier? What is something that people can look and say, wait a minute, maybe?
So, correct. So if your cycle suddenly becomes more heavy, if your cycle suddenly becomes more painful, if you notice that you have pain prior to the onset of your cycle, and the pain continues, it worsens during your cycle, but after the cycle, the pain lingers sometimes for days and weeks. Women might notice that as I mentioned, they have difficulty, especially during the period, passing urine or going to the bathroom otherwise. They may notice there's blood in the urine. They may notice there's blood in the feces. They may notice that their abdomen gets bloated and extremely uncomfortable. It's difficult to sit. And did we mention that intercourse can be exceedingly painful? And so this is one of the things, looking at your face.
I'm happy that you're here this evening to even talk about this because I've never had I've never discussed endometriosis anytime during my career, either as a reporter or a talk show host. And to hear this, it's information that so many people need to hear.
Yes. And the thing about it is the chronic inflammation, it makes women fatigued. They can never find the energy because inside they're constantly fighting this disease. So women are constantly fatigued. There's anxiety, there's depression, and so there's a myriad of symptomatology.
I wanted to ask you about a woman's mood
Right.
around that time, because people think, oh, she's moody, oh, it's that time of the month, or it's what all she's just doing for more, exaggerating, and it ain't, don't take all that. But you say,
So imagine having that discomfort every day of the month, but it's worse during your menstrual cycle, and not being comfortable being intimate with your partner because you can anticipate pain. And so yes, this can lead to mood disorders. So women with endometriosis have a greater risk of anxiety and depressive disorders.
if a woman feels as though she has endometriosis, like what should she do?
Okay, so she should see her physician, and she should detail all of the symptoms that she's experiencing, and her OBGYN should be experienced enough to lead the discussion and to advise about the next steps. And of course, we'll examine, and there are certain things that we can elicit when we examine. Believe it or not, when we examine, we may notice that there's nodularity within the vagina, and that is something that points to endometriosis. We may be able to feel certain areas, certain aspects of our examination may elicit tenderness. And this is something that might cue us into endometriosis. We very well may order an ultrasound scan, yes, because we might just want to make sure that anatomically everything looks otherwise okay. And with that, we can go ahead and start treating.
Yeah. Is it surgery or just treatment?
Right. So we never like to jump straight to surgery. It's important, though, that we jump on this early. So even for women who might be experiencing these issues, or women whose daughters might be experiencing these issues, it's important to jump on it early, because if we get early intervention, we may be able to prevent some of the chronic complications of this disease, which may essentially be infertility. So once we
wanted to ask about being able to have a kid.
Yeah, absolutely. So once we can get on it early, and we can give you the appropriate meds, which we usually start with pain medication, right? And believe it or not, the old-fashioned birth control, whether it be the shots, the injections, the implants that go under the arm, or the coil that goes into the uterus, is the first line treatment. It's the first line and the most affordable treatment for endometriosis. And if we can get on it early and we can get this treatment started, we may be able to prevent some of the long-term consequences.
That sounds, that's good. Women need that almost instant treatment that can take effect very much. And so, of course, surgery is the last, sort of a last resort, but all those different things. Now, this is important. Listen up, y'all, because I'll tell you, a lot of things can be made better. Food is medicine. Of what we eat, how we eat it, for women's health.
Absolutely.
Is food important?
Absolutely.
And what you eat important?
Absolutely.
In this instance.
Absolutely. So remember I told you that this is a disease of inflammation. And so one of the things that we can do is that we can decrease some of the foods that are felt to be inflammatory, and we can increase some of the foods that are felt to fight inflammation. So some of the foods that we can take more of: green leafy vegetables, brightly colored fruit. I like to tell my patients that we want a diet that is colorful. We want a diet that has all of the colors of the spectrum. And that way we could be ensured that we have all the vitamins, all the minerals, and all the antioxidants, because each one of these little prickly lesions, it kind of secretes charged oxygen species. And so with antioxidants, when we take these antioxidants, we're able to mop up all of those little charged oxygen species and decrease some of the inflammation. So lots of green leafy vegetables, lots of oily fish, right? Less alcohol, less caffeine, less processed meats, less red meats, less dairy, and less sugar.
Yeah. All those things that
things that we love.
That we love, absolutely, taste good, but we also know that those are things and foods and derivatives and all that cause just major issues, and starting with inflammation.
Absolutely.
And so that's really awesome. Drinking a ton of water, staying hydrated.
Absolutely, staying hydrated, exercising, exercising, mindfulness, getting adequate rest, yoga. Now, these things may not directly affect the disease, but women feel better when we exercise, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Feel better when we sleep, right?
Yes,
we feel better when we take time for ourselves. So we like to take a holistic approach in the management of endometriosis.
Sounds really good. Now, we know that a woman can become pregnant. Is it difficult? Because we often hear about women who are married and finding it difficult to conceive.
Right.
Is that one of the causes?
So if we took 100 women who were being seen for infertility, 50 of those women would be found to have endometriosis. And so the sorrowful consequences of untreated endometriosis can be that women's ability to conceive may be impaired.
And again, that's why you're saying jump on it almost immediately.
As early as you can. Even if you suspect, hey, my cycle has suddenly become more uncomfortable, have a conversation with your physician, because it's worth it to have that conversation, get checked out.
Yeah, very important. This is an important conversation and discussion this evening. Does endometriosis become cancerous?
Okay, so it is very, very rare that endometriosis would develop into a cancer of the genital organs. However, there's something called an endometrioma, which is a growth that occurs within the ovary, right? And this is the element that in very rare circumstances can become or can undergo a malignant change. And so this is why it's important that you see your physician, because remember I said we can order some studies, including an ultrasound. And so in women where we see endometriosis may very well affect the ovaries, this is the client who may need a surgery. Because if that's the case, we might need to go take that cyst out, right, so that we can be absolutely sure that that is perfectly normal, just plain old endometriosis, no malignancy.
Oh, okay. Good. So again, it's many sort of different things that can happen once you are examined.
Absolutely.
And get that sorted out now. Now listen, we know that a lot is being said about, we see legislation being passed about legalizing and then obviously having a system in place for cannabis and all the rest of it. You mentioned people being so uncomfortable. I mean, throughout the month, not even just at that time of the month. Then can people have access to cannabis? What role does cannabis play in helping manage to control the pain, the discomfort of endometriosis?
Very tricky question, but yes. So cannabis has been used by women for chronic pelvic pain. And so needless to say, it has been used by women with endometriosis. But remember, cannabis has the main two components, the THC, the CPD. The THC causes the high, the CPD alleviates the pain. And so if we are going to propose the use of cannabis for pain, then we have to have the legislation. We have to ensure that the right modality is being used.
And that is why you heard them say how it'll be sort of given out and subscribed first and then dispensed.
And you don't want adolescents using cannabis either. No, you don't want the adolescent brain being exposed to cannabis. I just thought I'd just plug that in there.
Just rest that right there.
Just rest it there. Just rest it there.
You're a doctor. Nobody want to hear you say that. Nobody want to hear you say that. Once we have this stuff on online, let's do it. But Dr. Andrea Griffith, both, thank you. A very, very thorough, in-depth, I guess, first look at endometriosis. It's not something that's sort of out front when it comes to women's health. Thank you for talking and stopping here this evening and speaking with us on that. If you want to reach out to Dr. Bo, by the way, 822-LIFE, 822-LIFE. Give her a call, find out more. Perhaps, go see her and see exactly what more she can tell you if you need some questions answered. Thank you once again, Doc.
Thank you so much.
This is Beyond the Headlines. When we come back, we're going to shift gears and speak with the SBDC, who is right here waiting to tell you about a new program that they have launched. It's all coming up after the break.
I am a master plumber by profession. I've been doing plumbing for over 40 odd years. When I was 9 months old, I was diagnosed with polio. To me, living with polio, I took it the way it is. I never allowed my polio to get in my way of anything. In fact, I love when people doubt me, and I just prove them wrong. And let me tell you, in the world, you could only find a plumber as good as me, but you ain't gonna find no plumber better than me. People with disability, they just need a chance. In this program, I feel so encouraged. Most of the mentors have different kind of disability, but disabilities like me. Sharing and caring and showing so much support with people with disability. They would encourage you to go beyond. I wish this was around a long time ago. Right now, I would have been a millionaire. You out there who have a disability, don't be afraid. Take the step. If you believe it, you could achieve it. And remember one thing, ain't no one better than me, and ain't no one better than y'all. God made all us equal.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com. The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila.
I win.
At Island Lock, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Luck Sportsbook.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, the SBDC has been very busy this year, 2025, ensuring that you understand just the amount of power that you have and access to funding, information, training, upskilling yourself and your business that you have in 2025. They have gone into overdrive to help make small businesses, startups, and those who are interested in doing business get started on a good footing. Well, this evening, the SBDC is here with its third rollout for 2025. I'm just excited of what they could be doing throughout this year because they're really reaching out and making an impact. I am happy to welcome from the SBDC, Blair Evans. Blair is the Innovation Manager at the SBDC, and Colette Ferguson, somebody who's benefiting already. Colette is the owner and CEO of Cocoa Reef Crafts. Now, good evening, ladies. It's good to have you both here.
Good evening. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Let's talk about, we already know about the disability or handicapped initiative and program that was rolled out. Then the fly fishing program that was rolled out, and all of these are ongoing, by the way, impacting people in those areas. Now, this evening, we are happy to talk about Tingsy. Blair, let us know about what Tingsy is all about and how and who is this geared to impact?
Thanks, Shanique. So Tingsy is a Bahamian e-commerce marketplace. And what that means is that we allow Bahamian vendors to sell their authentically handmade, unique products directly on the site. And they're able to accept digital payments and get those payments directly to a Bahamian business bank account. And a marketplace is important as opposed to just an individual store for e-commerce because you can see a variety of different vendors all in one place.
This is awesome because it's almost like a portal for people who have an interest in how they use their hands and that wonderful sort of knowledge-based industry that you marry. Well, I'll tell you, Colette, you are somebody who is involved in that with Cocoa Reef Crafts. Tell us about that and how did you come to be involved with SBDC and how it's further helped you get your business out there?
Well, thank you for having me. My business and my craft, it's all promoting natural resources found and made in the Bahamas. So I only use that to promote my product, like making things from straw, sand, and the shell. To get involved with the SBDC, I'm a part of the SBDC fam, and they invited me to be a part of this ongoing program. And I was excited, so I said yes right away because I'm looking for outgoing ways I can promote my business. So this is, you can't go wrong with having this opportunity to promote your business.
Well, this
that's right.
Yeah, this sounds amazing. Talk about how has your business shifted and changed, the look of it, the feel of it, the interest with being on this SBDC Tingsy portal?
It's opened so much doors. Now I can go international. I could now have more frequent income. It elevates me in terms of what I can make and give back to the world that is promoting Bahamian and promoting our culture.
It's sort of like this little craft ambassador type thing for the nation, right?
Yeah.
So then, persons internationally have access to seeing what you can do, and obviously, as Blair said, they can then just go there on the links, follow the directions, and order from you.
Exactly.
How has that been happening, or has it happened as yet?
It's in launching soon. So Ms. Blair will tell you about that. But my experience so far is it's a great response. People are looking for something that is locally made, that is not with a foreign name to it. And that's what I found that is more encouraging to go forward.
Awesome, really good. Now, Blair, let's talk about Tingsy. Let's talk about what the aim is. I know it's now sort of a soft rollout. You're going to have an official hard rollout.
Yes.
But the point is, though, you're not even waiting for that. You have reached out to Colette and a number of others. Let's talk about how this came to be and just the goal in impacting and reaching out to people in the craft industry and related industries.
Yes. So at the SBDC, we realized that digital is, the way of the world. And in addition to providing the training and mentorship that we already do through our existing programs, we want to also offer a solution, a tangible solution to our clients and to others who may not be affiliated with the SBDC as yet. That opportunity to take advantage of this in both an easy and affordable format.
Yes, absolutely. So listen, let's talk about which industries can participate.
Yes. So it's not just crafts. We are focusing on those authentic Bahamian products, but we have anything from clothing and accessories to jewelry like Cocoa Reef Crafts, also snacks and other categories. So if it's Bahamian made, we definitely want it on the platform because we want to give that variety to persons who are shopping on the site.
Yeah, and this is really awesome, a good thing, because people, when creatives start to create, and like Colette, you envision obviously reaching the world, but it's a challenging and difficult thing to even, you think about it, but how then do you walk this out and get it done? You have brought Colette, this one-stop shop that when Colette creates her product, it's now available to anybody, anywhere, including right home.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it's awesome because, I may be looking for jewelry, but I go on the site and I see something else that interests me. And so we're really able to reach more persons, expand the market reach that each individual business would have by being a part of that community in that marketplace.
Now, let's talk about the goal this year by the SBDC. It's really quite impressive to see what it is that you all are doing. You're not just talking it, you're not just sitting there as this very distant government agency. I see you nodding, Colette. You could speak about the fact that you're so happy that they're coming to the people, basically. And so respond after I let Blair respond, because let's talk about the fact that this year you all have come out of your offices and you all are saying, you know what, Bahamians really need an opportunity. This economy, this country is burgeoning with amazing opportunities. We brag about, 12 million visitors. You seem to have sort of a motto this year to say, well, let's try bring some of those visiting opportunities to the doorsteps of Bahamians and get them further empowered, further expanding their business, maybe even thinking more broadly.
Yes. Yeah, so our motto this year is actually small businesses, big impact. So it aligns perfectly with what you said. So we're always looking for new ways and innovative ways to serve this community of small, micro, and medium-sized businesses, whether that be through our standard training programs, the Business Blueprint training course, or some of these more unique opportunities like Tingsy.
So Colette, let's talk about, I saw you nodding when I was speaking, and mind you, I felt the energy just like you, because I've had the opportunity to speak with the Small Business Development Center for each rollout, and I've been impressed with each time. I mean, the fact that for the first time ever, persons with disabilities are they feel seen, they feel empowered. As somebody said to me who had an incident sometime last year, and she told me a few weeks ago, guess what? I was there, and they assisted me with getting a loan and thinking of more ways to kind of market her business and get it out there. You know, she now is considered sort of handicapped, and so she felt very, very good. But coming back to you and the Tingsy rollout, Colette, let's just talk about again just with this sort of new thrust and how you feel that, man, this sort of very distant government agency before is now something that you can feel and touch and see and speak with the persons involved.
It's very exciting because it opens so much doors to what was closed to me before, because I was just stagnated into one area. Yes, I'm reaching some tourists, but it's like you say, 12 million, you're not touching it. So this opens a door where I can reach them that are coming in, tell them where I can be located, and use this platform to open doors for me to do more delivery, more open opportunities to sell my product.
Exactly, because when would you have stepped into the virtual space, which is the biggest marketplace? When would you have stepped into that, Colette, anytime soon, and do it as efficiently as you're doing it?
That's why I was so excited, and she can say I was one of the first to jump on board, because there was no way. I've tried. This has been years in the making, where it was saying it was supposed to come but never arrived. And when she called me, I'm going, it's here, and yes, I want it.
Yeah. Now, Blair, what's sort of ahead in the short term to help bring Tingsy, sort of just bring it right to people and have them understand, and how even those who are hesitant or perhaps a bit skeptical, that wait a minute, yeah, we see what SBDC is doing, but maybe it's not for me.
Yeah. And we have had some of that, and so a lot of this is having those conversations and addressing some of those fears that vendors may have. They're afraid to go digital, they're not very tech savvy. So a big part of Tingsy is that we're providing that one-on-one support. So you're not just gonna, get your site and be left alone. We're helping you from onboarding through your journey on an ongoing basis. So, you just provide your logo, your products, your bank account information, and, we basically do the rest for you.
Pick up from there and just run off.
Yes.
Again, Colette, listen, you all need to have Colette as the poster person, because she is excited, the right energy.
Yes.
But this is awesome. I mean, I'm tempted to see what I could do. You know what I mean? Because it's just really awesome. And I like the fact that you're really making business doable now for Bahamians, and Bahamians who are interested and have an idea already, maybe into something, but not quite sure how to take the next step to get that out there and get their product out there. So thank you very, very much for stopping by and sharing this. I feel as though I'm now part of the family, because I love sharing this news with all of us, so that in 2025 we really maximize, not just celebrate the announcement of a development somewhere, anywhere on our islands or here in New Providence, but to know that Bahamians are now stepping into that space and can perhaps have their product, their services in these developments as they come on stream.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, we're super excited about the way forward, and we look forward to everyone being able to shop this spring.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very, very good. Again, the SBDC with its latest program, rolling out Tingsy, which it's more tailor-made toward several things, but more niche, the craft, those in sort of that craft area where they create with the authentic pieces of Bahamian life around us. You all know it, what we do from all the various things, the coconuts, the conch shells, and all the stuff, straw, and to just make it something very beautiful, a work of art, quite frankly. Ladies, thank you very much. Congratulations, SBDC. Colette, listen, I look forward to seeing you win. Yeah. You have the right attitude to make that happen. So thank you all for stopping by.
Thank you too.
I want to thank all of you for tuning in all week long. I know you had a good time because, boy, we had that's an active week of news, right? I tell you, we're going to pick up right where we left off on Monday. And so, until then, for the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a blessed weekend, everyone.